mystery, hidden knowledge, the subconscious, the veil. I am the pomegranate. No, not the pomegranate, but the High Priestess. I'm doing 31 days of tarot today, and I'm answering the question, what is my favorite depiction of the High Priestess? So I've been studying Tarot of the Spirit, nice thick book, and I decided to just choose that one because it has a lot of symbolism in it that made me look at the High Priestess in a new way. Lots of esoteric stuff embedded in the images. So I'm going to turn the camera around, but stay tuned for after the exploration of the symbols because I'm going to tell a story about the full moon last night. I just watched Olha's video, which I'll link down below. I think I said your name right. I'm so sorry if I said it wrong. It's a sound I'm not used to saying. But yeah, she made a really cool observation about it being the 11th prompt today, and that makes 2 for the High Priestess. And yesterday was the full moon. So yeah, lots of High Priestess vibes going around. Okay, so here is the High Priestess from the Tarot of the Spirit. And what I love about this card is it has a whole bunch of symbolism embedded. We have the Torah, or more specifically, the law of nature, like a scroll just rolling down to her feet here. We have the all-knowing eye. And yeah, she's really connected to Kether up here, as you can see on the Kabbalah, the Kabbalistic tree of life. Let's focus that. But she's also connected to the subconscious, and you see here a stream of consciousness flowing over this black and white checkered pattern. The black and white checkered pattern are like the floor of the inner temple. They are like duality and these polarities. Here we have the pillar of severity or understanding, and then here we have the pillar of mercy and wisdom. And you can see here those 2 pillars, and she is that center pillar, that middle path, if you will. What else is here? We have the elemental cross, and to represent like the emotions, the spiritual, the body. What's the other one? Thoughts, I think. Thoughts, I think. Anyways, she's sitting on this cube, and I believe that represents like the material. I think it's interesting that she's sitting on a cube because I actually think she thinks more outside the box. But yeah, that's what I love about her. Now, I've pulled out some other cards. You see here the Gimel, for it's a Hebrew alphabet, and it means camel. And which one here? More in Thoth or Thoth related decks, you see an actual camel representing that. And that's because, well, that's what the Hebrew letter means, but also it's traveling across this unseen circle on the tree of life, and that is Da'ath. It's like the desert, and the camel holds all this, you know how it holds water, and it holds that knowing as it crosses the desert. And I pulled out also the one that we're more familiar with. This is the Aquarius tarot, but it's basically a Rider-Waite-Smith. And I just read about this. We have these lotuses, but they're supposed to be like lotus buds. This one here actually shows it more. Lotus buds. They're not quite full bloom because it has something to do with Diana, the goddess of the hunt, but she's also like a virgin goddess or something. Oh, you see the elemental cross here as well. Now, this is what confuses me. Sorry, I'm adjusting. This is what confuses me about this Because here we have the stream of consciousness, and in this deck, it is in the book, it says that the stream of consciousness originates with the Empress. That's why I pulled the Empress cards out for all of these. But I was used to hearing that the stream of consciousness originates from this. You see this dress, it's like watery here. It originates with the High Priestess. And then you see this waterfall in the background. It flows to the Empress, to this this part of us that's nature, that's fertile, that's able to receive these seeds of insight and do something with them creatively. So that's how I always thought of it. And let's look at this one. Same thing. You see that waterfall in the background. You see the water originating, the stream of consciousness originating with the High Priestess. But this one is the other way around, and that's giving me a lot to think about. If any of you guys have any insights on that, I'd be really interested to know, Kabbalistically speaking, what's going on. Why does it start with the Empress here, but start with the High Priestess in the Rider-Waite? And also, in Paul Foster Case's interpretation, it begins with the High Priestess. All right, I'm going to turn the camera back around and tell you guys a story. Okay, I'm just going to take the veil off, if you will. Okay, that's better. So the full moon yesterday, it hit around 1 p.m., I think. And sometime around then, I started getting really sick. I started getting feeling really cold. And this has happened to me one time before, that cold feeling. It's not just like the chills you get when you're getting a fever, which I got, but it was something else. I felt like all the love was drained out of me and I had no warmth in my body. I felt very disconnected from what I call source. And I started getting sick. So let's rewind. I'll tell you the story when it happened in the past. It's kind of embarrassing, but one time I was wearing my shoes all day with socks and my feet got a little stinky. So I was hanging out with my boyfriend. He was my boyfriend. Now he's not. He's my fiance. How many times have I said that? I'm a Cancer sun, so family is a big thing for me. And yesterday was a Cancer moon. Okay, maybe that's why it hit really hard. Okay, so I was hanging out with him and my feet were a little stinky. And I had noticed it. And I asked him if he had noticed it. And he very, very politely, very kindly said he did. But that it didn't bother him. But I did go wash the stank off. But afterwards, I felt so embarrassed, so mortified. It was earlier in our relationship. I don't care if I'm stinky now. But I was so mortified. One second. I'm drinking hibiscus tea right now. Trying to go with these red vibes. I know that's not High Priestess. She's more blue, but drama. So I was so embarrassed, and it was almost like my inner child was reliving some embarrassment about sweaty feet in school and in the gym. And in middle school you just don't want anything for bullies to latch on to. So it was a lot of that, a lot of I grew up in a home where that kind of stuff was really shamed. So I was reliving that, even though he was totally kind and totally sweet to me. And I started getting really cold and shaking. So in the middle of the night, I was shaking so much I couldn't even go to the bathroom. And I was covered in blankets, and I was just I needed help. I didn't need to go to the bathroom. I wanted to go take a shower, a hot shower to warm up. It felt I've never had hypothermia, but it felt that, I guess. In my core, I was cold. like didn't feel worthy of love at all. Emotional mind, not the rational mind, the emotional mind. So I took a shower and it wasn't helping. And so finally we ran a bath and I sat in the bath and immersed in it. And I had to surrender to him taking care of me, like almost like a baby. And as I was in the bathtub, I was warming up, and it was partly the hot water, but also the fact that I was letting him love me, letting myself be taken care of and loved unconditionally. All from some stinky feet. Okay, so back to the full moon yesterday. I started feeling that cold feeling coming on again. And I had just seen a video of India.arie. She posted something about being really scared for the world. And I was like, India.arie is giving up on the world? This person who made a song, I Am Light, that song that carried me through so much darkness, is like almost feeling powerless to make the world a better place. And I was just so sad. I was sad because I was like, she's helped my life so much. And I know she's helped so many people with her music. And so that really hit me in the core, like hit me in the core. And that's around when I started feeling the coldness coming onto me. And I was getting really sick. It was worse than that other story I told you. And so then I started shaking a lot. I shook so much that I can't even turn my head past there right now because I got like a whiplash almost. It's like, it's really stiff right now. It hurts. So I was getting bundled up. I was surrendering this time. Surrendering. I'm not fighting getting sick. I'm surrendering to whatever message the universe has for me. Like the High Priestess. I know that there's something to learn from this severity. And as I was surrendering is when I started getting an insight. I started understanding spontaneously a little tiny bit of my purpose, which I will share in another video because it's going to be too long. But to sum it up, I felt called to share more about my cultural background and my upbringing. And I saw how my piece of the puzzle fit into this bigger piece of the puzzle. And that's the story, to be followed up with a full video about that insight. But that's what I feel like the High Priestess represents. It's like hearing those messages. By the way, after that, I watched The Good Place. I don't know if you've seen that show, but it's really good. And it's about morality, I guess, and or maybe ethics. You know what? I'm not an expert in this. Is that a philosophy thing? Aquarius. No, sorry, aquamarine. Can you bring clarity? Is that a philosophy thing? But yeah, that show is so good, and they just started new episodes this year, and they're getting up to the season finale. And as I was watching it, I just started crying. I was like, life is beautiful. The world is becoming a better place. How did I get that optimism when I was so upset about India.arie feeling all that pain and that the weight of the world on her shoulders? I just surrendered to the darkness, and I was able to see some light. By the way, I'm feeling a lot better. I just feel like a little chest achy here. I feel that stiffness in my neck from the shaking. But yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. And I think that's illness. When I get sick, I feel like it always has something to teach me, and it passes through me a lot quicker when I don't resist getting sick. Like, I feel like a lot, like this is my throat chakra area, and that's where I really felt the sickness. And I feel like I've been speaking my truth a lot more lately. And as a result, some fearful thoughts came to the surface to challenge that, from the subconscious, right? The high priestess part of me was sensing that, and she listened. I listened to what it had to say, and it's like fear. I had fear of speaking my truth. And that fear kind of died away with the illness, died away and returned to Mother Earth to make some fertile soil for something beautiful to grow. Thank you so much for watching, and I have been enjoying your guys' comments. I've been watching as many videos as I can, and if I haven't watched your videos, can you let me know below, because I do want to see them all. And I really try to comment when I watch someone's video. But yeah, thank you again, and I will see you, I guess, tomorrow. I didn't batch videos today, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.